Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the
Hell
consequences
yeah.
when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
Like online, because that's really what it is. It's the photographs and stuff that come through the feed.
Right.
And I was like, what? Like, because she had like,
because she did put it out
stuck
there.
under the bed, like the booty's up in the air with her head stuck under the bed.
Not 50 Cent dropping exclusive behind-the-scenes footage that Terrence Howard allegedly passed him. And it's all about Diddy's secret freak-off parties. Yup, Terrence is finally spilling the real tea, and trust, it's boiling hot. For years, Terrence has been calling out the shady mess behind the scenes in Hollywood, saying he got blacklisted just for not playing along. But now that the walls are closing in on Diddy, it looks like more people are ready to talk. And Terrence, he's not holding back. Not only is he talking about Diddy, but he even dragged Young Miami into the mix. He's claiming she was involved in those infamous freak-offs too. And wait till you hear what he allegedly caught on camera. It's way deeper than anyone imagined. The craziest part? Nobody even asked Terrence about Diddy. He just volunteered the dirt out of nowhere. During a recent podcast interview, Terrence decided to finally let it all out. And from the way he told it, his experience lines up with what so many others have been whispering about Diddy for years. Y'all already heard the talk, those strange invites, that sketchy energy, the uncomfortable setups. Well, Terrence says Diddy hit him up one day talking about needing acting help. Now come on, Diddy's done a few cameos here and there, but nothing so serious that he'd need to be coached by Terrence Howard himself. So Terrence pulls up thinking it's all professional.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out.
But once he gets there, boom, Diddy allegedly starts switching up, like real quick. According to Terrence, the vibe went from business to something else entirely. But Terrence wasn't having it. He stood on business and made it very clear he don't play like that. Whatever was being planned, he shut it all the way down. And here's where it gets even messier. Terrence claimed he wasn't the only one Diddy allegedly tried that stuff with. He straight up said Diddy had a habit of making moves on every single man who came to his parties. Like, every man. According to Terrence, they were losing their man cards at those Diddy parties. Whoa! The way he tells it, Diddy's gatherings weren't just about music and vibes. They were a whole other kind of experience. And based on the recent headlines, this ain't sounding too far off. But let's be real, Terrence has been talking about this for a while. He's always hinted that Hollywood turned on him after he refused to play the game. Back in the day, he told folks that he wasn't pushed out because of bad roles or some burnout. He was pushed out because he stood his ground. He said they tried to strip him of his manhood, and once he refused, boom, they flipped the script and labeled him difficult. Sound familiar? Same playbook the industry uses on women who speak out? Now we're seeing it hit men too. And when Terrence announced he was retiring from acting in December 2022, a lot of people were shocked. But now, it's starting to make sense. People were seriously confused when Terrence Howard announced he was stepping away from Hollywood because everything looked fine on the outside. He was still landing big roles, the fans loved him, and there wasn't any public scandal or drama. So why walk away when you're winning? Well, according to Terrence, it wasn't what we saw on the surface. It was the behind-the-scenes stuff that pushed him out. He said Hollywood was trying to trap him in the situations that straight up made him feel like they were trying to strip away his manhood.
This week, and I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands-off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. When you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You should have a greater desire than being a man.
And when he pushed back and said, nah, I don't roll like that, Hollywood turned cold real quick. Next thing you know, he was out the game. He did eventually come out of retirement, but you can tell he moves real cautious now. And since stepping back into the spotlight, Terrence has been pulling the curtain all the way back on what he calls the dark side of the industry. One of the biggest things he keeps exposing, the pressure he felt to wear a dress on camera. Yeah, he said he was pushed to do it more than once, and he refused, standing 10 toes down every time. According to Terrence, those scenes had nothing to do with the plot. They weren't artistic. They weren't necessary. It just felt like a setup to humiliate him and chip away at who he was as a man. And he ain't the only one calling this out. Comedian Cat Williams said the same exact thing in that wild interview with Club Shay Shay. Cat broke it all the way down, how there's this pressure in Hollywood for black male actors to put on dresses or act in feminine ways, even when it makes no sense for the role. And every time, it comes with some sweet deal, big checks, big roles. But at what cost? Cat said he turned down real money multiple times just to protect his integrity. He wasn't willing to sell his manhood for fame. And guess what? Right after Cat's interview dropped, Terrence jumped into the convo too, and he had receipts. Remember all those rumors about Terrence being too difficult to work with? Or that he got fired because of his temper? Well, Terrence finally addressed all that. He made it crystal clear. The real reason he got replaced wasn't about attitude. It was because he refused to play the game. He wasn't about to let anyone clown him or compromise who he was. Terrence even quoted his dad saying, "My daddy taught me, never take vertebrae out your back or bass out your throat. I ain't raised no sheep. I raised men. Stay a man." He kept it 100. Being a real man these days feels like a curse. He said society ain't made for men to thrive anymore. Everything's gone androgynous. And the more feminine you act, the more successful they want you to be. But Terrence didn't stop there. In another interview, he flat out said there's a secret agenda to emasculate black men in the industry. He claimed that powerful folks see strong black masculinity as a threat, and they're trying to water it down, bit by bit. According to him, white men are allowed to be dominant, aggressive, powerful, but when a black man steps into that same energy, he's labeled dangerous. He said, "I don't want to remove a few chromosomes just to fit into someone's story. They need to expand their stories to let men be men and still appreciate the beauty of a woman." And with everything that's been going on lately in the industry,
to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Terrence's words hit even harder now. With everything Terrence Howard's been saying about Diddy lately, fans are starting to connect the dots, and honestly, it's all making way too much sense now. But get this, it doesn't stop there. According to a plugged-in insider, Terrence is still sitting on some next-level bombshells, info that could shake things up way harder than anything he's already dropped. And guess who's tied up in it? Yup, Young Miami. Now, right after Terrence's interview went viral...
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce.
Mhm.
When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies. Those trophies came.
50 Cent jumped online like he was trying to stay above the drama. He posted something like, "No comment. I'm staying positive. God help us all." But now it looks like 50's had a change of heart because suddenly he's out here talking about nasty Freakoff footage, and it supposedly features none other than Diddy's main girl, Young Miami. Reports say this alleged footage was recorded by Terrence Howard himself at one of those infamous parties he got invited to. And let's just say, Young Miami was caught in a situation that nobody expected. But to be fair, this ain't the first time the streets have been whispering about her. The word is, she didn't just attend these wild parties, she was allegedly helping run them. There's even messier tea, like when one of Diddy's other women, Gina Hoyne, posted a pic with him online and Miami lost it. She allegedly went into full jealousy mode and even threatened to force Gina into a freak-off. Here's what she reportedly said. "Gina, you've been down bad ever since I came in the picture. Crying for a baby for 15 years? You've been around just for that EP and D when he felt like it. You a eater, The same chick crying to Tasha K for a baby? Girl, I got a career. You just freak certified. She didn't stop there either. You ain't heard from Diddy since the awards. You talk about babies? If I really wanted you to eat me, Diddy would have had you on your knees. You a munch. That right there? Straight up savage. And it gets darker because Young Miami's name allegedly comes up again in one of the court cases against Diddy. One woman listed as Jane Doe filed court docs claiming she was drugged at Diddy's house in July 2022. She said she was told to come to his LA home, and while in the bathroom, she was allegedly forced to take something that turned out to be ketamine or another drug. Jane Doe said she blacked out and kept losing consciousness the whole night. And when she'd wake up, she'd have bruises all over her body.
You're saying the success is derived from the marriage.
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because
he's
no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
It was like this. Like.
With zero memory of how they got there. According to her, Diddy would keep feeding her alcohol and substances, telling her to perform for him. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. It went on for months, all the way until July 2024. Then things took a tragic turn. Jane Doe claims she got pregnant by Diddy during this time. And once he found out, the pressure got intense. One of Diddy's close associates, Karsha Brownlee, who fans know as Young Miami from City Girls, allegedly started harassing her nonstop. According to the lawsuit, Karsha kept calling Jane Doe, pushing her to get rid of the baby. Not long after, Jane Doe suffered a miscarriage and cut off all contact with Diddy and his team for months. So when people say Young Miami might be deeper in this mess than she lets on, they're not reaching, especially since we all saw how wild she reacted back in 2022 when Diddy had a baby with another woman. That jealousy, that control, it's not just rumors anymore. Now it's showing up in legal filings. And if Terrence really does have more footage or receipts, things might get a whole lot worse. And now comes the wildest part. Lil Rod's updated lawsuit just dropped even more disturbing accusations. And it puts Young Miami right in the middle of the mess. According to the documents, she wasn't just some bystander at Diddy's wild parties. Nah, Lil Rod says she was fully involved and allegedly even had family in on it too. He detailed one specific incident that's beyond disturbing. Lil Rod claimed that while Diddy was intoxicated, he offered him coke, which he refused. So Lil Rod goes to the bathroom, trying to keep it low-key, but suddenly Young Miami's cousin bursts in and starts groping him out of nowhere. Here's what he said in the filing. Mr. Combs was intoxicated and offered cocaine to Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones rejected it and walked to the restroom. While he was using the restroom, Young Miami's cousin entered, dropped to her knees, and began performing oral acts on his exposed privates. Lil Rod said he immediately pushed her off and tried to walk out, but it didn't end there. She reportedly followed him out of the bathroom, still trying to take her clothes off and get physical, in full view of Diddy and his crew. But that's not even the only time things went left. On Thanksgiving night 2022 in Miami, Diddy allegedly told Lil Rod and another man to follow him into the studio bathroom. He asked for a $100 bill, not for spending, but to do nose candy. Lil Rod didn't have one, which probably saved him, because not long after, Diddy allegedly did it anyway with Young Miami. And there's more. Lil Rod accused Young Miami of allegedly helping Diddy transport substances, delivering them to him wherever he was, whenever he needed it. In one example, he claimed that during rehearsals for the Something in the Water Festival in Virginia, Diddy sent word he wanted Tucci. Brendan forgot it, so Young Miami flew it in herself. But the most outrageous part? He said Young Miami was allegedly on Diddy's payroll, not just as a girlfriend, but as an S-worker. The documents claimed that Young Miami, Jade, and Daphne Joy were all getting monthly payments from Diddy's team, wired through Robin Greenhill, as part of what was described as an ongoing criminal operation. The receipts are stacking real high, and things are looking real bad for Young Miami, especially since 50 Cent is now rumored to have videos of her caught in 4K at these wild parties. And listen, 50 is the last person you want holding any dirt on you. That man's got a PhD in petty, and when it comes to Diddy, their beef goes way back over 2 decades. So yeah, if 50's really holding on to those tapes, it's just a matter of time before he presses post. And boom, everything blows up again. But let's talk about it. Do you think Terrence Howard is telling the truth? Do you believe Young Miami knew what was going down? Or was she caught in the crossfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because the next oh, it's already boiling.